What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Friday, August 9th, 2024, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 23:43 Eastern Time here in the United States, and I wanted to update you on the situation in the Middle East between Iran and Israel, and I also wanted to update you on the situation between Ukraine and Russia. So what you're looking at here is a new picture showing a U.S. Ohio class submarine in the Eastern Mediterranean taking off from its port in Crete. Okay, so this is a U.S. Ohio class guided missile submarine, and we have four of these here in the U.S., and this is the USS Georgia. Now, this thing can carry 154 Tomahawk missiles, which is about as much as 5 or 6 destroyers, okay? So we have four of these, and one of them is now in the Eastern Mediterranean, 100% confirmed. This is clearly a sign that the U.S. is preparing for a massive escalation, and I personally believe what we are witnessing is the beginnings of World War III. Okay, so 154 Tomahawk missiles, and this is to strike Iran if Iran attacks Israel too severely. We will retaliate with these Tomahawk missiles, which could potentially have nuclear warheads on them. Okay, because the Tomahawk missile is nuclear capable. It can carry the W-80 thermonuclear warhead, which has 150 kiloton blast yield. Okay, so 154 Tomahawk missiles on this thing, loaded and ready to go. And the U.S. Central Command posted these pictures on their Twitter account earlier yesterday showing these F-22s arriving in the Middle East. And they wrote the U.S. Air Force F-22 Raptors arrived in the U.S. Central Command Area of Responsibility on August 8th as part of U.S. force posture changes in the region to mitigate the possibility of regional escalation by Iran or its proxies. Okay, so we are witnessing the beginnings of World War III. Okay, I believe that the U.S. is finally going to do what they've wanted to do for a very long time, and that is to strike Iran, to denuclearize them, destroy their nuclear facilities, destroy their naval bases, destroy their missile systems, their air defenses, their radars, the IRGC locations. I think we're going to see it, guys, especially if Iran conducts a very severe strike, which is what we're hearing. Okay, Israeli intelligence is saying that Iran is planning to strike government buildings like the Israeli parliament building, the Israeli prime minister's office, the Mossad headquarters, IDF headquarters. Also, they're going to hit seaports, airports, and gas platforms and electrical infrastructure. So Iran is planning a strategic attack on Israel, okay? So get prepared, guys. We are witnessing the beginnings of World War III. And then here we have some video footage of these F-22s when they landed in RAF Lakenheath in the UK when they were flying over from Elmendorf. They stopped in the UK. Check this out, guys. These are stealth fighters, okay? We are moving over 20 stealth fighters to the Middle East, okay? We have just under 200 of them. So if we move over 20, that is pretty significant. Okay, that's 10% of all of our F-22s going to the Middle East. And these are air superiority fighters. They can penetrate enemy airspace and destroy the S-400s that Russia gave to Iran, and radar sites and all kinds of things. And before I continue with the breaking news, I wanted to mention the sponsor for this update, which is My Patriot Supply. Guys, My Patriot Supply is doing their most aggressive discount yet on their 3-month emergency food supply. And to get the deal, you got to go to preparewithnyprepper.com. They've lowered the price of their 3-month food supply from $800 down to $500. 3 months of emergency food for $500. That is a really good deal, and it will last you 25 years because it is freeze dried and it's all packed within 6 rugged water resistant buckets. So you have all that food in a small package. You can store that pretty much anywhere. And you can also take it with you. If you have to bug out, you can throw that in your vehicle easily. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get $300 off the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply, $500 for it. Also, they have free shipping and handling included. In addition to the 3-month supply, they also have a general store. And to get to their general store, you got to scroll all the way down to the bottom and you'll see the My Patriot Supply logo at the very bottom of the page. You click on that and it'll take you to their general store, and they have all kinds of discounts. And to get the deals, you got to use my link, preparewithnyprepper.com, and I'll leave the link in the description below this video. It's crazy how you don't even hear them until they get close. So these are the world's only true stealth fighter jet besides the F-35 that is actually functioning and has been used in combat. So when we bust out the F-22s, that's very serious. We also moved B-2s to Qatar. So, and then the Ohio class submarine, the SSGN, okay, the USS Georgia in the Eastern Mediterranean. And Russia has issued a notice to airmen for planes leaving Russia, warning them to avoid Israeli airspace at night between 0100 and 0700 local time until August the 16th. Okay, so Russia warning its pilots not to fly from 0100 to 0700 hours local time, that's Israeli time, until August the 16th. Okay, so Russia must know something. And the IRGC has apparently obtained a new anti-ship cruise missile that they claim is virtually undetectable, and they plan to use it against U.S. warships. And there was an attack earlier this evening on a U.S. military base in Syria, and we are now hearing that there are deaths being reported, U.S. military deaths, okay? Now, I can't confirm that 100%, but that's what I'm hearing. And Russia has instituted a counterterrorism regime in 3 of their oblasts bordering Ukraine in Kursk, Bryansk, and Belgorod. And this would be the largest counterterrorism operation in Russian history. Okay, now what's interesting is for those of you guys who watch my 24/7 live streams, I have cameras of the Polish-Russian border and the Russian-Lithuanian border. And now those cameras have disappeared. I don't know if that's because Russia's planning to attack Poland and Lithuania and they've shut the cameras down, but they did the same thing before they invaded Ukraine. They shut down all their cameras along the border with Ukraine, or if it's related to this counterterrorism operation that they're doing. But what you're looking at here is a picture of a Ukrainian soldier right outside of the town of Lubimovka in the Kursk Oblast, which is 30 miles from the Ukrainian border. And this is literally just 5 miles away from the Kursk nuclear power plant and maybe about 10 miles away from the center of Kursk. Now, Kursk is a strategically important city in Russia. It has an FSB headquarters there. There's some air defense batteries there. There's a bunch of radars there. So it's very possible that Ukraine could try to seize control of that nuclear power plant or possibly enter downtown Kursk. But this is a huge embarrassment for Putin, and it's definitely going to make him want to use nuclear weapons even more now against Ukraine. And here we have some video footage of Ukrainian soldiers in the Russian town of Sujba. And Sujba is the town where the Russian gas pipeline goes through, and they've seized control of this metering station, a distribution hub for Russian gas into Europe. So now they can effectively cut off gas into Europe. This is absolutely huge, but let me just play this for you. So they're saying here, wishing you health from the town of Sujba. Here's the news. The town is under the control of the armed forces of Ukraine. The town is quiet. All the buildings are intact. The strategic object, Sujba's Gazprom building, is under the control of the 99th Mechanized Battalion of the 61st Separate Stepova Brigade. Peaceful sky to everyone. So this is huge, guys. Ukraine is literally invading Russia, okay? And we're hearing that they're massing troops in other areas along Russia's border. So I don't think they're done just yet, okay? I think we're going to see other incursions near Kursk. Maybe they're going to go into Belgorod. Maybe they're going to go into Bryansk or somewhere, okay? So this is absolutely huge. And here we have a picture showing this electrical substation that was hit by a Ukrainian drone that services the Kursk nuclear power plant. Okay, so they hit the substation that provides electricity to the Kursk nuclear power plant. I don't think they did that on accident. I think Ukraine is going to try to take that power plant. And we are now hearing that there are up to 5,000 Ukrainian soldiers on the border with Bryansk, which is further west of Kursk, okay, near Chernihiv. And the IAEA is calling for maximum restraint around the Kursk nuclear power plant. And the Russian Ministry of Defense has reportedly transferred reserves to the Kursk region, MLRS artillery guns, tanks, and vehicles. So this is a very serious situation. And here we have some Russian journalists that were right outside, or Russian war correspondents that were right outside of the Kursk nuclear power plant, and they reported hearing emergency sirens that were sounding from this power plant, okay? So this is very, very concerning. We have to keep an eye on that. And what you're looking at here is some new footage showing a large kaboom in Russia from this supposed drone strike on the Morozovsk airfield a few days ago. Okay, this was inside of Russia, and they said it was drones that attacked this airfield, but I personally believe it could have been F-16s with some kind of air-to-ground munitions, because last I checked, drones don't cause this kind of a massive mushroom cloud and large shock waves. So let me play this for you. Look at that. Absolutely insane. So I would not be surprised at all if these were some kind of missiles fired from F-16s, because Ukraine already has several F-16s, okay? And for all we know, they could be providing air cover for the Ukrainian troops on the ground in Russia. I did share some footage 2 days ago of an F-16 supposedly flying over Kursk, deploying flares, but this is just absolutely insane. And the IRGC deputy commander said punishment is coming to Israel. IRGC Lieutenant Commander Ali Fadavi said the Supreme Leader's directives regarding severe punishment of Israel and avenging the blood of Ismail Haniyeh are clear and explicit. These directives will be carried out in the best possible way, and this is Iran's current duty. And White House National Security spokesman John Kirby said the U.S. was ready to defend Israel with plenty of resources in the region, and Israel is preparing various retaliation options against Hezbollah, including extensive strikes in southern Lebanon and potentially destroying districts in Beirut and Baalbek. And Israelis are receiving text messages telling them they will be buried by next week, according to Ynet News. The messages include the recipient's personal details, such as full names and cities of residence. The police have announced they are actively working to trace the source of the messages, which they say are deliberately designed to induce panic during war. And Reuters is reporting that Iran will deliver hundreds of ballistic missiles to Russia soon, according to intelligence sources. And the U.S. is not planning a new conversation with Russia at the level of the defense ministers of the two countries in the near future, the Pentagon said. And Moscow has warned Serbia of preparations for a CIA-sponsored coup and mass riots initiated by representatives of NATO countries, Serbian President Alexander Vučić told reporters. And we had this exercise somewhere in the upper Midwest with Estonian pilots and Ohio Air National Guard. Very interesting. Maybe that's what we've been seeing over Michigan the last 2 days. Apparently, it's called Northern Lightning. Okay, this is exercise with the Estonian military. Very, very interesting. Here we have a picture of this supposed drone attack on the U.S. base in Syria this evening, and you can see quite a large kaboom. I don't know if that was a drone. It looks to me like a ballistic missile, okay? But our government's not going to tell us the truth. Here we have video footage of Russia sending reinforcements to the Kursk Oblast. Looks like we have some artillery and radars here. Those are actually radars. That's a radar right there. Some kind of towed artillery. Looks like a self-propelled artillery here. So Russia is in panic mode. And we have this interesting footage coming out of Rostov, Russia, showing this strange object flying through the sky with a huge contrail behind it. Not sure what this is. If you guys have an idea, let me know in the comments. Look at that thing. Very strange. It almost looks like a rocket going up into space or missile. I'm not sure what that is. So I thought I would just share that with you. And earlier this evening, there was an explosive device apparently placed outside the White House. Hazmat crews were deployed to the White House. Let me play this for you. So this was filmed by a White House reporter. I think she works for CNN. She posted this to her Twitter page, and she's actually inside the White House, and she's filming all the hazmat crews that were deployed there. So, very strange situation. We had an X 1.3 flare yesterday, which could cause a strong geomagnetic storm later on this weekend. So, we got to be on high alert for that. It could cause low latitude auroras. And we have another tropical system developing in the tropical Atlantic. They now give it a 70% chance of development over the next 7 days. So this thing will develop into some kind of storm. And the latest models are showing that it's going to impact the southeastern U.S., somewhere along the coast of South Carolina or Georgia, and then hug the eastern seaboard. So you got to be on high alert if you live in the Carolinas, Virginia, and on up to Maine. And we have the remnants of Tropical Storm Debbie over Maine right now. And Debbie caused some very serious flash flooding here in Pennsylvania and upstate New York, parts of northeastern Pennsylvania and northern Pennsylvania and central New York had some really, really bad flooding. And the governor of New York issued a state of emergency because of the flooding. And the Japanese prime minister has canceled overseas trips after authorities in Japan warned of a potentially major earthquake. Japanese authorities are urging people in a wide area of the country to take precautions against a possible mega earthquake. The Japanese Meteorological Agency issued a special mega earthquake advisory for the first time on Thursday, following a magnitude 7.1 tremor that rocked Kyushu on the same day. The advisory is part of a precautionary measure being taken against a possible megaquake occurring around the Nankai Trough, which runs through the Pacific coast. The agency says the possibility of a disaster is relatively high. The government has designated 707 municipalities in 29 of Japan's 47 prefectures, including Tokyo, as areas with the risk of a strong tremor with an intensity of lower 6 or higher and a tsunami with a height of more than 3 meters. The weather agency is urging those municipalities to check their earthquake preparedness. So, very, very serious, guys. And if you remember in 2011, Japan had that 9.0 or 9.3, whatever that was, that crazy earthquake that caused the 100-foot tall tsunami. That was just absolutely insane. So we have to be on the lookout for that. But that's the latest breaking news that I have. I will be back tomorrow, Saturday, with more updates, and I do have my 24/7 live stream going. I have the nuclear attack options in the background. You can listen to them. You can chat with other people. You can look at some webcams. So I'm going to be leaving that up. So come in and hang out. I pop in throughout the day occasionally, so you might see me in there. If not, I'll see you on the next update. Take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.